Hello everybody, I am NicoD. So today I'm gonna review my new computer. So it is a Ryzen 3700X, 8 cores with 16 threads. So that is quite a lot, and it has got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it also has got a GTX 1650 video card with 4 gigs of RAM. So it is quite a beast. It is great for gaming. I thought I wouldn't play that many games, but I can't stop playing games. So I'm gonna show you a few of the games that I am playing. It plays great even at 1440p with most games. So it is a very good video card and a very good CPU. They are all very power efficient, so that is also a very good thing about both. It isn't as an RTX 3090 that consumes more than 300 watts. This video card consumes maximum 75 watts, and my CPU is about 65 watts. So that is great for being so powerful. So I'm very happy with my new computer. Normally I work with single board computers daily as my main desktop computer, but now I haven't used my SBCs as main desktop. I do still use my NanoPi M4, of course, as my second desktop. When I'm playing games, I can search something on the internet with my NanoPi M4, so I still use it, but of course this is a lot better for main desktop. So my PC isn't the only thing that I bought new. I also have got a new microphone over here. I hope it will be a lot better, because my old microphone wasn't made for this kind of work. And I also bought this. So the Elgato 4K 60S Plus. So with this I can record my HDMI onto an SD card. I also ordered new SD cards because the file sizes of this are really huge. So it can record in 4K 60 FPS. So you cannot record that much on a 128 gigabyte SD card. So I will use this to record my display from my computer. So I installed 2 operating systems on it. I installed Windows on one NVMe drive, and then I installed Linux Mint on another SSD drive. So I used half of the SSD drive for Linux Mint and the other half to have an NTFS partition that can be reached by Windows and Linux. So that's how I configured everything. So now let's show it. Here we go! When I boot my computer, I get greeted with this window. So I've installed Linux Mint 20.2 XFCE. And then advanced options for Linux Mint, then Windows Boot Manager to start Windows, and the UEFI firmware settings. So now I'm gonna start Linux. So when we come in Linux Mint, we get greeted with this window, but I first have to change some settings. So my display, it is at 4K, but I can't see much like this. My display isn't that big, so I'm gonna change the scaling to 0.7 and apply that, and this way everything is a little bit bigger and it is more readable. So let's do some benchmarks in Linux. So first I'm gonna show you 7-zip, and I am also gonna open a Mate system monitor. So Mate system monitor, and here we can see our 16 threads. This is really awesome to see. My last PC only had 4 threads and 4 cores. So this is awesome, 16 threads. Certainly with Blender it is awesome to see. So now let's do a 7-zip benchmark of all the cores. And keep this open so we can see what is happening. So 7ZB, and this will benchmark all the cores. And you can see it is starting to use everything of all the cores. This isn't an official benchmark, it is just to show what is happening. So the result is 57,583. So if we know that the Odroid N2 Plus can do about 12,000, then we know this is quite powerful, certainly compared to an ARM board. So a little comparison just for fun. So my Intel i5 2500K did 14,824 MIPS. My Ryzen 3700X did 56,083 MIPS. Then the AWS Graviton 2, I only had half of the server, so I only had 32 cores of the 64 cores. So that did 110,628, so it could have done about 2 times that. And the Ampere 32 core was 85,975. And then the AMD Threadripper 3990X did 391,809. But that has got 128 threads, so there is no comparison with that. But it is a very nice improvement with my i5 2500K. So now let's do a Blender benchmark. So the Blender NicoD benchmark. This goes very quickly with 16 threads. It just flies over it. With an SBC, this can take minutes, tens of minutes, and even hours with older SBCs. With this, it is just really fast. Let's wait a little bit more. I don't have to fast forward this. It doesn't take that long. As you see, all cores were used at the maximum. And we get 50.5, but now let's close System Manager and let's close everything else. And let's do the benchmark like it should be done. And now let's fast forward. So because the System Manager was open, the System Manager consumes maybe 1% of the performance, but 1% is still 1%. And 1% can be a half second, so now without the System Manager open, we will get a little better score, I think. So here the result is 49 seconds and 51, so that is great. So the Ryzen 7 3700X did the NicoD Blender benchmark in 49 seconds and a half. Versus the i5 2500K does it in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So my Ryzen 3700X is more than 4 times faster than my i5 2500K. The Odroid N2 Plus did this in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. The NanoPi M4 version 2 19 minutes 43 seconds. The RockPi X, which is also x86, but it has lazy Intel cores, so 36 minutes and 17 seconds. And the slowest that I have here is the Orange Pi Plus 2, that did it in 1 hour 49 minutes and 36 seconds. But the Orange Pi Plus 2 is a 32-bit system, and it isn't very powerful either. It is impressive how much better my Ryzen is compared to my i5. I love it. Now let's do a BMW Blender benchmark, but let's do it with CLI. So Blender-B BMW CPU blend frame 0. So this is how I benchmarked the servers. So the Threadripper 3990 and the ARM servers. So this way I will be able to compare it with the Threadripper and with the ARM servers. So let's fast forward. The BMW Blender benchmark takes a little bit longer than the NicoD Blender benchmark, so it is better to benchmark high performance machines. And here the result is 2 minutes 42 seconds and 54. Now let's go and compare that with the servers. So the results are a bit weird. So my Ryzen did 2 minutes 42 seconds. But the Ampere 32 core, the ARM server did 8 minutes 27 seconds over it. I don't know why it is this slow. I don't have access to it anymore, so I can't check it. So the AWS Graviton 2 32 cores did 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So it has 64 cores, but I only had 32 cores. And the Threadripper 3990X did 30 seconds over this. So the Threadripper is more than 5 times faster than my Ryzen 3700X. That is amazing. Too bad I couldn't buy a Threadripper. And as last I made a project in Kdenlive of 10 minutes long, 1440p video. I put in some effects. So let's see how long this takes. So I will render this to MP4 H.265 and with 16 threads. Let's fast forward. So the result is 9 minutes and 19 seconds. Now let's memorize that, and we will do the same in Windows. So here we are in Windows. Now let's open Blender and do the NicoD Blender benchmark. So in Windows it takes a little bit longer. It is 53 seconds. I've done it many times. It was never faster than 53 seconds. So it is known that Linux performs a little better than Windows with Blender. But for me Blender isn't that important. I use Kdenlive a lot for my video rendering and editing, like I am doing right now. So that is a lot more important for me. So let's do the video editing test with Kdenlive. So here I have got the same 10 minutes video project in 1440p. And I will render it to MP4 H.265. So let's fast forward to the results. The temperature doesn't go over 75 degrees Celsius when rendering with all cores maxed out. So Windows did it in 9 minutes and 12 seconds, while in Linux Mint it was 9 minutes and 19 seconds. I've done this multiple times and it always was faster in Windows, so I probably will be using Windows for my video editing. This is now a small project, but when a project is a lot bigger and in 4K, then that small difference can be rather big. I'm very happy with my storage devices. So I've got 2 NVMe drives and 1 M.2 SATA drive and also 1 hard drive of 1 terabyte. So here on top is my 1 terabyte hard drive. Then I've got my Linux SATA drive. So I've divided that in 2. So 200 gigabytes for my Linux partition and another 200 gigabytes for an NTFS partition that can be accessed from Linux and also from Windows. Here my 500 gigabyte Samsung 970 EVO NVMe. Then my 250 gigabyte NVMe drive. It's already filled with games. Then we also see my Samsung USB stick of 250 gigabytes and another USB stick. Those are not important. So let's benchmark my drives. So I used Crystal Disk Mark to benchmark my drives. So here is the benchmark of my Samsung 970 EVO NVMe. So this is very fast. The sequential read is 3568 megabytes per second and the write is 2478 megabytes per second. Although for smaller files it starts to be less impressive. So a minimum of 50.45 megabytes per second. And 179 megabytes per second writes. So now let's compare that with my other drives. So here you can see the difference between NVMe drives, SATA drives and a hard drive. So my NVMe drives can get about 3 gigabytes per second versus about 400 to 500 megabytes per second for an SSD. And the old hard drive only does about 100 megabytes per second, but it is very bad for very small files. And now some gameplay. So here is GTA 5. So I'm running it at 1080p and everything maxed out as much as possible. I could run it at 1440p, but for a game like this it's better to have a bit more frame rates than to have a nicer looking game. But it runs butter smooth on this. I must admit, my old PC also ran it very good, but then with low settings and in 720p. I'm searching for humans in this game, but who the hell would walk in this weather? Oh, I found one. Hello, how are you? Goodbye. What? The police isn't after me? Who the hell do I have to kill to have the police after me? Oh, there's someone. Maybe he is more important. Yes, I've got the cops after me. Now I'll go and search them.
Just in case I wasn't having enough fun already.
Oh, there are some cops. Hi, cops. How are you doing? I'm sorry, but you have to die. I was looking for trouble. I found trouble. But can I get out of it too? I'm not gonna get out of this easily. Oops, I'm dead. And now the second game is Flight Simulator 2020. I play this with a display resolution of 1440p and high-end everything. So this looks great and it plays great. I didn't think this would play this well on this computer, but it does take a very long time to load things. I do run it from an NVMe, but it still takes a very long time. So I will take off in Ostend, not that far from my house, and I will fly to Rotterdam. I know the route. I've done it so many times with my bicycle, so that is very easy to do. What a beautiful sunset above the North Sea. So here I have to go to the right, follow the coastline until I get in Breskens, and there go over the water towards Vlissingen, then from Vlissingen to the dams, and from there I can go to Rotterdam. It's an easy route, I can do it all on visuals. I must say that my joystick isn't very good. It seems too sensitive and it goes into places that I don't aim to. But it is a very old joystick, so maybe I should buy a new one.
Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra frequency change.
It also works that way. Why don't many more pilots fly like this? Seems a lot of fun. Another game I really love is Assetto Corsa, so I play this at 1080p with everything on Epic. It plays great on this PC. I used to play this at 720p with everything at the minimum, so now I can play this as it should be. It is a very hard game, it is very realistic, but that's why I love it. I do use a cheat line because I'm very bad at it.
Green light, go, go, go. fastest lap.
That was awesome. So now Pro Cycling Manager 2021. So I play this at 1080p, everything at maximum, and this also runs perfect on it. I did play it at 1440p, but it wasn't perfect. You could see that it wasn't at 60 frames per second as my display resolution can be. I love this game, it really looks great, and it plays awesome. Normally I listen to music with this, but of course with YouTube I cannot play any music.
Greetings to all. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. Look out, he's breaking away.
So I am playing with a young rider that I created myself, and the calf, that's me. So I'm still very young, I still have to learn a lot, and I still have to improve a lot, but I'm having a very good day today, so I should be able to compete with the best. I'm a climber, but not a hilly climber. These are more hills. If it would be a real climb, then I would be among the best. But it are hills, so I'm not the best at it.
There's a breakaway.
I let them break away. I don't care about them. I have to save my energy for the last climbs. So let's go to the final. It's already a boring enough game to watch. I'm not doing that great, but well, I did my best. So 4k to go. I'm using my teammate Sutter to pull me towards the end of the race. But there are a lot of other riders in front and in between that don't need to be here. They still have to do another round, and they are here because we captured them. But well, it doesn't happen that much in this game, but when it happens, it is a bit stupid. So Sutter has done for it. Now I've got to do it myself. Get out of the way, you idiot! So I finished as fourth, but there were a lot of other riders that had to go another round, and they were all in front, all in the way. And that way I couldn't see really what I was doing. I couldn't see at what position I came, but I was fourth. That's not a win, but well, I did my best and I'm still young and there are better riders before me, so I can't complain. And now the last game that I play way too much. It is a very addictive game, so it is Farming Simulator 19. So I play this at 1440p with very high profile, and it plays great on this machine. So you play a farmer, you have to plant fields, sow fields and harvest them and everything in between. So I don't have a farm. I started with $1 million or 1 million whatever you want euros. And I bought some gear, so I've got 2 tractors, so this is the first. And this has to sow this field, so this field is mine. There are 2 fields that are combined. And here is my second tractor, here is my harvester. And I'm also doing a job for somebody, for a farmer. So here is a harvester for potatoes. So I'm doing this potato field, harvesting this potato field for the farmer. So here you see the job that I do. When finished I will get 27,000 euros in our euros. And I'm at 62%. So you have to earn money to buy new fields and to buy new gear. And that is why it is so addictive. You just want to have more money and you keep on playing it. So I would suggest not to start playing it, or else you will lose a lot of time. But I really love the game. And there is gonna be a new version in a few months, so I'm gonna buy that and see how it is. So my conclusion is that it is an awesome PC. I just love it. It is great for gaming. It is great for my productivity tasks like video editing. The 16 threads really are awesome to watch when they are working. I must say, if I would buy a new computer this week, I would have bought another CPU. So the Ryzen 5700G is now available. This comes with a little bit better CPU than mine. And it also has got a GPU on board. So you don't need a GPU for it. So that would have been a better choice. But I didn't know that CPU would have been available at this seller. I saw it a week later that it was available. But well, you can't wait forever to make a choice. With that I would not have needed to buy this GPU, and it would also have been very good for gaming. And then I could have bought a better GPU later on. So that's it for today. I have talked about everything I think I can talk about. So thank you all for watching. It was great to test my new gear, my new microphone, my new PC, my new capture device. It all works as it should work. My microphone, I still need to learn a lot more about it, but it does work. So let me know how it was here in the comments. See you all later, bye!